Thank you for visiting bestbiblecommentaries.com. In this video, I'd like to show you some of the most well-reviewed John commentaries that are available today. The first commentary I'll show you is D.A. Carson's commentary from the Pillar New Testament Commentary series, in which D.A. Carson is also the editor. This volume is often considered one of the best, and some consider it the best commentary on John available today. If you know D.A. Carson, you might be aware that he is conservative evangelical, and that's the approach that he takes to the text and theology of John in this commentary. One of the purposes of this series is to offer not just exegetical help, but also theological reflection. And so in that sense, I think that this volume would be helpful to pastors and teachers who are going through the Gospel of John. It's not technical. This volume could be used by a layperson who is used to using Bible reference materials and is used to some conversation on biblical scholarship. I think would do fine with that volume. It's originally published in 1991. So it's getting a little bit older now, but it's still one of the best reviewed commentaries available on John. Second one I'll show you is written by Andreas J. Kostenberger, and it is part of the Baker Exegetical Commentary on the New Testament series. This volume was published in 2004, so it's one of the most well-reviewed commentaries on John. And so if you're looking for interaction with more recent scholarship, this one was published 13 years after D.A. Carson's commentary. So in keeping in alignment with the purpose of the BECNT series, this volume goes into more depth on exegetical discussion. There is theological reflection, so that makes it similar to the Pillar series, but this series is there's more Greek in it, and Greek, even Greek characters and transliteration that's common to the main portion of the text, not just reserved for the footnotes. Next one I'll show you is from Craig Keener. I'm showing you the first volume. This is actually available in 2 volumes. So one thing to note is that the 2 together are over 1,600 pages. So that will tell you that when you're trying to find information on a passage, you're going to be wading through more material, and some want that kind of depth. So, but others might not. So, if you're available with Craig Keener's other works, he's a prolific commentary writer. One of his strengths is concerns backgrounds, historical backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, and that's very evident in this commentary. There is exegetical insight, there is some application suggestions, but the strength of the 1,600 pages is the background to John and the background to the passages. That actually is now, that two volume, I show you the hard copy, or the hardback, but it's actually available in paperback, and it's pretty affordable, at least at the moment. It's pretty affordable. I think you can get both volumes for $45 or something like that, new. The next one I'll show you is by Ritterboss. This is not part of a series, so we would call this a standalone, published by Erdman's, called a Theological Commentary, because Herman Ritterboss was a theologian. This one is a little bit older, just based on the spectrum that I'm showing in this video, published in 1997. I would say it's not an introductory commentary on John. It is it's maybe the next step beyond the Pillar, or beyond Keener. It's more of a mid-level. I think pastors would do fine with it. It might not be the first choice of a lay person, but if such a person did well with Pillar, they might move on to this. It's really well noted for the theology. So, of course, Ritterboss was a theologian, and so if you're looking for the theological insight, that would be an option. The next one I will show you is somewhere here. J. Ramsey Michaels. This is a replacement volume in the New International Commentary on the New Testament series. It was published in 2010, and by replacement volume, I mean it's now replaced the Gospel of John in a series. There was an older volume by a different author that I'll show you in a minute. Michaels was a professor at Gordon Conwell. He is now retired. There is more information regarding the meaning of the text and the theology of the text, some on application. Reviewers have noted that there is less material, less background material, less interaction with recent scholarship. So kind of just depends on what you're looking for in your John commentary, but those are the kind of the two insights that I think would be helpful to that, knowing about this commentary. So less background in Michaels, much more background in Keener for contrast. Leon Morris is the next one I'll show you, and this is what this is the volume that Michaels replaced. So Leon Morris volume was published in 1971, and it was well reviewed for many years for its interaction with scholarship, recent biblical scholarship. The thing is, it was published in 1971, so it's not going to be quote unquote recent anymore. It was revised in 1995. Morris is a conservative evangelical, so kind of on that spectrum of conservative evangelicalism, this was kind of the go-to volume before Carson, and but many pastors and professors still find this volume especially helpful. It's also noted for being accessible by lay people, so Sunday school class, a Bible study, this might be an option. The next one is Gary Burge, and this is part of the very popular NIV application commentary series. Pastors love this series because there's application help in it, and so there is a section for each passage on exegetical help, but it's not nearly as in depth as some of the commentaries that I have shown you. Sunday school teachers, Bible study leaders, small group leaders, this series and this volume I think would be very helpful. It's more on the introductory side, but just the way Gary Burge writes, and by introductory I don't mean there's not depth. There is, and there are profound insights that Burge makes accessible to introductory readers. I also have a question and answer on my website with Gary Burge on this volume. So if you're interested in it, you can go to the top horizontal menu, author interviews, scroll to the Gospel of John, and you will find that Gary Burge Q&A. The next one I'll show you is Beasley Murray. This is part of the Word Biblical Commentary series. It first came out in 1987 and then was revised in 1999. It is moderately critical. The revised version is the differences are in the introduction and in the bibliography. So if you just think you're going to use the commentary itself, that part of the book, you can actually find the older version and it will be the same. The next one I'll show you is C.K. Barrett, called The Gospel of John. This one is a little bit older as well, based on the ones I'm showing you today. It was first published in 1955, and this is the second edition, which came out in 1978. This is an English translation of Barrett's German commentary on John, and it's also based on the Greek text. So, of course, it's in English, but there's Greek lettering, Greek characters, as opposed to just transliteration, meaning just English characters sounding out the Greek words. So there is depth to it. It's very readable. So if you're not used to reading something that's has been translated into English, it's very readable. But I would say it's mid-level or higher. So I would not recommend it as an introductory book. It's also moderately critical. Again, though, if you're not used to that, just know that it's well reviewed by conservative commentators and theologians as well. Actually, D.A. Carson praises this particular book, if that's helpful information to have. The Expositor's Bible Commentary series has been revised. The original in John was written by Merrill Tenney. The revised is written by Robert Mounts. It's part of this Luke, John, and Acts volume 10 in the Expositor's Bible Commentary series. The John section is a little bit over 300 pages, and I would say that it's introductory in nature. F.F. Bruce has written a commentary on John that has withstood the test of time. It was originally published in 1983. It's introductory, but Bruce is he's a sophisticated writer, so just know that some of the vocabulary today's reader might not be that used to, but I think it would be helpful to Sunday school teachers, small group leaders, and those doing that kind of work. I think pastors would find it helpful, maybe as a complement to one of the other volumes here. I think it's published with a different cover design at the moment, but there is no revision to it. So if you just find F.F. Bruce, Gospel of John, you'll be able to have this commentary. I think there was a version, Erdman's did this one, where Erdman's put the Gospel of John and 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John by F.F. Bruce all together in one volume. So that's out there somewhere, I think, just on the used secondary market right now. I wanted to show you one expositional commentary. Now, some would say this is expositional because this series is because it's so focused on preaching. So that's broadly, yes, this is expositional. This is expositional, an example of an expositional commentary in a little bit different sense. This is R.C. Sproul's from the St. Andrew's Expositional Commentary series. There's only about, I think, 5 or 6 volumes in this series that were completed before R.C. Sproul passed away. But so the difference is with this this commentary reads like sermons because it's basically sermons written down with some editing to make it a little bit more readable. So if you find expositional commentaries, it's really, the review, whether they're good or they're not good for your purposes, is really just if you like the author or the preacher. So R.C. Sproul fans would love this. But other expositional commentaries on John, it's just if you like the preacher, this would be a good resource for you. If it's not really in your tradition or you have some different views, then this wouldn't be. But this is I just wanted to show you an example of an expositional commentary on John. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it's been helpful, and I appreciate you visiting bestbiblecommentaries.com.